Happy to have you with us, my friends. Great to have you back, Rush Limbaugh. Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day. Here on the one and only Excellence in Broadcasting Network. The telephone number is 800-282-2882. The email address, lrushbo@eibnet.us. Jeff Sessions just had a press conference in Washington, D.C. about sanctuary cities. And I'm looking for a story here with polling data on sanctuary cities. It is that most people are fed up with them and want something done about them. While I find that, let's go to the sound bites themselves. Jeff Sessions, we have two bites from I guess this is at the White House, actually, where it's not so much a press conference. Sessions, I guess during the media briefing, announce action against sanctuary cities.
The president has rightly said disregard for law must end. In his executive order, he stated that it is the policy of the executive branch to ensure that states and cities comply with all federal laws, including all immigration laws. Today, I'm urging states and local jurisdictions to comply with these federal laws, including 8 U.S.C. Section 1373. Moreover, the Department of Justice will require that jurisdictions seeking or applying for Department of Justice grants to certify compliance with 1373 as a condition of receiving those awards.
So Trump is continuing on the things that he can do via executive orders, which in many cases are just undoing things Obama did. He is continuing to do. The story that I was looking for, I found it's a Rasmussen poll. Only 35% of Americans said they would like to live in a community that declared itself a sanctuary city. And I think, folks, this again points to the divide that exists in the country and that the drive-by media, people like Ted Koppel, are very much concerned about. But the divide is not what they think it is. The divide is over the obscure, well, not obscure, the odd, strange, contradictory policies they want to enforce on people versus traditional Americans who want no part of it. For example, if you listen or watch the mainstream media, you see them celebrating sanctuary cities. You see them promoting them. You see them criticizing any effort to force sanctuary city governments to obey the law. Anytime the Trump administration or anybody, a member of Congress, suggests that what happens in sanctuary cities is illegal, whenever an illegal immigrant engages in a series of crimes, if they've been deported once, twice, 3 times, gotten back into the country, continue to wreak havoc, such as commit rape or run drugs or what have you, there seems to be no interest in stopping it. And anytime such people are found and discovered, the apprehension and prosecution of them is criticized because they're minorities and they're victims, and we've got to give them a fair chance because it's the United States that has made these people this way by denying them fair entry into the country, and we've served to make them mad and so forth. Even when they commit murder, such as in San Francisco, it is excused, and we are told that if we are repulsed by this and angered by it, that we are bigoted and short-sighted. And the picture is created that most of America, and the media is really good at this, making it look like all of the country is of the same opinion they are. I can give you countless examples of this. In Indiana, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. The media reacted to that like it was the worst thing that ever happened. They started attacking Mike Pence. And they went out and they found a pizza owner who said, a little 22-year-old woman said she would not serve and cater a gay wedding reception. It took them, 3 days to shop and find this one pizzeria in a small town in Indiana. They portrayed it as the whole state. But their coverage made it look like all of America was outraged, that all of America wanted to go in and put this little pizza shop out of business. And it turns out they are not the majority. They're not the majority of thinking. They're not the majority of thought. They are in Hollywood, they are in New York, and the East and West Coast, and certain enclaves. And it's evidenced here. Only 35% of Americans want to live in sanctuary cities. Working class Americans are least likely to favor living in a sanctuary city, only 25% supporting the idea. Wealthy Americans are the most likely to support living in a sanctuary city. Why do you think that is? And by the way, that number is 41%. That's not even a majority. 41% stated support for sanctuary because they can stay away from it all. The wealthy need not ever see it. The wealthy will never encounter it. But working class Americans will encounter it because they are the ones against whom crimes are committed. They are the ones in whose neighborhoods all of this garbage happens. And yet the media does its best to make it look like it's a totally mainstream idea. Sanctuary cities, this is good dissent. This is courageous dissent against an imperialistic government which is bigoted and racist against people of color who happen to not be from this country and so forth. And this is why, folks, even with this health care thing that happened on Friday, New York Magazine, no less, regretful Trump voters are mostly a myth. Ordinary voters pay very little attention to the goings-on in Washington, says New York Magazine. And for all of Trump's radical proposals, he's yet to actually do much of anything that immediately hurts the average Republican voter. Meanwhile, the growing economy that he, of course, inherited from Obama, which he did no such thing, is chugging along nicely, providing relatively low unemployment, decent wage gains. And so as far as most people are concerned, everything that Trump's doing is great. It's fine. And the health care bill, that's Congress's fault. The point of this is that you can't yet find, the reason we haven't seen the stories on regretful Trump voters is they don't exist. I think the New York Times or Washington Post, maybe CBS, did a story. They found one in Ohio. They ballyhooed it, made a big deal out of it. But Trump voters are not yet regretful. They don't see Trump deviating at all from what he stated he was going to do. And this sanctuary city crackdown, they're applauding this. This is exactly the kind of thing that the Democrat Party endorses, that used to be members of their base. White working class voters used to be the Democrat Party base. They have been abandoned. Democrat Party has decided to create this coalition of minority groups and aggrieved people who have these grievances because they're victims, and that's who the Democrat Party has championed. And these white working class voters are the people who literally are the victims of liberal policies and liberal of irresponsible government, victims of that. And to them, Trump is right on schedule. To them, Trump is doing everything he said he was going to do. Here's one more Jeff Sessions bite.
I strongly urge our nation's states and cities and counties to consider carefully the harm they are doing to their citizens by refusing to enforce our immigration laws and to rethink these policies. Such policies make their cities and states less safe. Public safety as well as national security are at stake and put them at risk of losing federal dollars. The American people want and deserve a lawful system of immigration that keeps us safe and one that serves the national interest. This expectation is reasonable, just, and our government has the duty to meet it, and we will meet it.
So they're on schedule, and they are heading on down the path exactly as they said they were going to. Sanctuary cities will not stand. If people engage in it, are going to be penalized. They're going to be held accountable to the law.